As we were just discussing, President Trump's approval rating on the economy has fallen to a career low. A new CNN poll shows that only 31% of Americans believe Trump is handling the economy well, while 65% say his policies have worsened conditions. Gas prices have soared over the past month. Bank of America now expects 4% inflation this quarter. 4%. And it warns a longer war could tip the economy into recession. Ken Rogoff is a prominent economics professor at Harvard University. He formerly served as the IMF chief economist, and he joins us now from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Ken, really good to have you on the program. How much do you believe the economy is factoring into the president's war calculations, and should it? We talked inflation, we talked gas prices, but I also think it's worth looking at the 30-year mortgage rates as well. I've been watching these quite closely. It's pretty much shattered any recovery, those rates in the housing market. So how much do you believe this is really about propping up the Americans' impression of the economy?
Well, I think that's a factor. I mean, I think it's also Trump not figuring out how to actually win in the Middle East war and deciding he's going to pull out and hope for the best in what remains. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't really see how we can go win such a massive air victory and then walk away and have the Strait of Hormuz closed and without a clear plan for changing it. And if we don't, I think these problems, the higher inflation, interest rates staying high, global economy weakening, hitting the US, are just going to get worse. So it's a very difficult situation. I think this is really the biggest shock on the downside that's hit the US economy of this type in maybe 5 decades. And I don't think just you can snap your fingers and make it go away. So we'll see. I have to say, if you look at where the markets think oil's going to be in a year, they seem to think it'll normalize, but good luck with that. I think there's a very good chance it won't.
And in fact, when you actually argued at the very start of this that we could be in a very precarious position for the global economy. And I'm wondering how much that stands, because when you wrote that, Ken, we didn't even know that the Strait of Hormuz would be, basically blocked for an entire month.
Yeah, I mean, I was of the view this thing wasn't going to be so quick. And even if it ends, it won't necessarily be over. I mean, we all remember when Russia invaded Ukraine, everybody thought that would be over in 6 months at most, one way or the other. We're 4 years plus in, and it's still going strong. I mean, I think we may see a temporary peace here, but the underlying fundamentals are still bad. The Iranian regime can fight on just the way Afghan did, Iraq did. But I mean, what Trump will tell us is that they've been so degraded, they can't cause problems. But look, the Houthis, which are tiny nothing, have been causing problems in the Red Sea, and Iran's vastly bigger and more powerful. So I think may only take one country to start a war, but it takes 2 countries to end it.
Or more at this point. I'm wondering what you believe could be the lasting implications for the global economy in the way that the oil shock of the 70s transformed the energy architecture around the world. I ask because it seems that we're in a much more precarious place. I mean, if you look at any G7 government or beyond, they just do not have the fiscal firepower that they once did. So what are you looking at in terms of what the lasting effects may be of this?
Well, that's a very good point. I think the big thing is that interest rates are going to be higher at the other end of this. I'm talking about what the Federal Reserve does. It sets a very short-term interest rate. I'm talking about the longer-term rates. You mentioned mortgage rates earlier, the 10-year U.S. Treasury rates. Those are really set in the market. And I think they're going to stay higher, and it's painful. Why? Because there's more uncertainty, because everybody sees that a lot of money has to go into military spending. That's certainly going to be a lasting effect of this. The world economy is likely to remain more fragmented. The Straits of Hormuz being partially shut is symbolic of that. But there's this larger picture starting with the tariff war, U.S. allies now see they need to diversify. Europe even is looking to China. Asia is looking to China. So we end up in a world where we're more split up and interest rates are going to be higher.
Yeah, and it definitely ignores all the progress that globalization has given many countries and has contributed to growth over the last few decades. Ken Rogoff will continue to check in with you. Appreciate your time.